Hello everyone, welcome again to online session of Manolaw classes. I am Dinesh Kumar and I am former assistant professor of law at Campus Law Center, Law Faculty, Delhi University, and presently I am working as an academic head of Manolaw classes. So dear students, in today's session I will discuss with you one of the important judgment of Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Ashwani Kumar Upadhyay versus Union of India and others. But before moving to the discussion part of the judgment, there is an important announcement for all of you. Admissions are open at Manolaw classes for the upcoming batch of 2022 and 2023. All of you may get yourself enrolled with us for getting the best result. For more information, you can dial on the given number given on the screen, that is 9971444054. So now we come to the decision part. And the name of the case is Ashwani Kumar Upadhyay versus Union of India and others. The date of the judgment is 8 November 2021. And in this judgment, I will discuss with you Article 32 in brief and Section 41 and Section 42 of Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016. So first of all, we understand about Article 32. So as some of you are aware that Article 32 is a fundamental right under Part 3rd of the Constitution of India, and if any fundamental right of a person is violated, then such person can directly move to Honorable Supreme Court by virtue of Article 32 of Constitution of India. As far as Section 41 of the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016 is concerned, this section provides for the constitution of the Central Advisory Council. So Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016 has been enacted by the Parliament to curb the power of the builders, because there are so many cases in our country in which the buyer who buy the house or flat from the builder, they are left at the mercy of builder, and builders earn a lot of money, but they do not provide the house or the flat to the concerned buyer at the appropriate time, and there are certain other legal issues as well. As far as Section 42 is concerned, this section provides for the various functions of the Central Advisory Council. Now we come to the fact of this writ petition. As far as the fact of this case, Mr. Ashwani Upadhyay, who is an advocate in the Supreme Court of India, filed a writ petition in Honorable Supreme Court under Article 32 of the Constitution of India, and in its writ petition, this Mr. Ashwani Upadhyay raised certain contentions, and the contention number 1 was that there is no uniform builder-buyer agreement in the country, and builder make agreement according to their own choice, or they make the agreement in an arbitrary manner, by which such agreement they don't give any right to the buyer of the house or flat, and they are left at the mercy of the buyer are left at the mercy of builder. Second point was that there are so many conditions in the favor of builder. So while any agreement is framed by the builder, then all the conditions in the agreement are in the favor of the builder, and there is no condition which is favorable to the buyer of the flat. Third point was that if the buyer is not able to make the payment to the builder on a given time, then builder charges 18% interest on the said payment. But if the builder is not able to give the flat to the buyer at the appropriate time, then there is no liability of the builder. So these kind of agreement do not give the equal bargaining power to the buyer. Second, such agreements are considered as standard form of agreement. So basically, standard form of agreements are those agreements in which all the conditions are in the favor of the company or in the favor of one party, and there are so many conditions in the agreement, and the person who signed this agreement is compelled to sign the agreement even if some of the conditions, even if he is not agree to abide by some of the conditions. So in these kind of agreement, there is no choice with the other party, that either he has to accept all the conditions of agreement. For example, suppose there are 10 conditions in an agreement. Suppose there are 10 conditions in an agreement and there are two parties. So this agreement has been drafted by one party, but the other party is not agree to accept the condition number 8 and 9. So in this case, there is no option with the other party. Rather, the option with the other party is that either he has to accept all the conditions of the agreement, or he has to accept none of the condition of the agreement. When a person signs such kind of agreement, then he is bound to accept some of those conditions which are not favorable to him. So these agreements are considered as a standard form of agreement, and sometimes these agreements are also referred as against the public policy or against the other party. Next, in such kind of agreement, both the parties are not at equal footing or are not in the equal bargaining position. So when the parties are not in the equal bargaining position, then there is a reasonable apprehension that other party might have used the undue influence, or the consent of other party was not free, as per the section 14 of the Indian Contract Act. Now, as per the provisions of RERA, section 41 provides, or section 41 gives the power to central government, that central government may constitute a central advisory council, and this central advisory council has been entrusted with the various functions, and these functions have been provided under section 42 of the SAD Act, means RERA. Now we will discuss some of the functions of this central advisory council. So as per the provisions of section 42 clause 1, the function of central advisory council shall be to advise and recommend the central government regarding following matters. Number 1, on all matters concerning the implementation of this act. This act means RERA. So the main purpose behind the enactment of this act was to control the arbitrary power or arbitrary misuse of power by the builders. Second, on major question of policy. So it is the duty of the Central Advisory Council to assist the central government in framing a very good policy which is equally beneficial to the buyer of the flat or house. Next, towards protection of consumer interest. So it is also the duty of Central Advisory Council that it will make such policy which will be in the interest of the consumer. So who is consumer in this case? Consumer is the person who buy flat or house from the builders. Next, to foster with the growth and development of real estate sector. Next, any other matter as may be assigned to it by the central government. So in today's case, our main point of concern is towards the protection of consumer interest. If builder will make such kind of agreement in which all the conditions are in the favor of builder, and the person who buy the flat or buy the house from the builder is left on the mercy of builder, and in case of the violation of any term of such agreement, there is no remedy with the buyer to take any action against the builder. But if buyer does not fulfill any condition, then every remedy lies with the builder. Honorable Supreme Court, after taking into consideration all these contentions, consider that this writ petition was in the public interest, and it directed the central government that central government should frame a model builder-buyer agreement and agent-buyer agreement to infuse transparency and fairness and enhance the aim and objective of RERA 2016. So when this petition was filed, Honorable Supreme Court considered all the contentions of the petitioner, that is Ashwani Upadhyay ji in this case. Honorable Supreme Court issued to the central government that it is the need of the hour that there should be builder-buyer agreement, or this agreement should be uniform. because there are so many builders in the country and so many buyers, but the agreement of all builders and buyers are different kind or of different nature, and all such agreements are always in the favor of the builder, and there is no provision for the protection of the buyer. That Honorable Supreme Court has directed the central government that a uniform builder-buyer agreement should be enacted or framed so that it would be applicable equally to all the builders of the country. And while such kind of agreement will be framed, then equal right will be given to the all the buyers of the flat or house from the builders. So this kind of misuse of power or misuse of authority by the builders can be checked or can be prevented, and this kind of agreement was much needed. And if the central government will enact or central government will provide this kind of agreement, then it will be in the interest of the crores of the people who buy the house from the builders or who buy the flat from the builders. Simultaneously, it will also enhance the objective, or it will also achieve the objective of the RERA. So my dear students, that's all for today. I will come again with the next landmark judgment of the Honorable Court. Till then, thank you very much. Goodbye.